Hey, how's everybody doing? It's Vince here. Money's been tight lately, so shopping I've been doing is been pretty thrifty, unfortunately. But at least it keeps me going. In the meantime, hopefully soon I'll be back and be able to buy cooler stuff again. But I had a bunch of it, and I figured I'd show everybody, let everybody know what I got, and might be something interesting for somebody to see. For you heavy rock guys, there's not a lot of that in here. Unfortunately, I never find that at thrift stores. I have to usually order that or find it at the regular stores. But I do find some interesting stuff from other genres. But for the rock guys, I do have playing in the background, if you can hear it. I have the first Badlands album, and hopefully you can hear that. And I'll keep you occupied while I show you the stuff that's on metal or whatever. Either way. So I'm going to start with the two newest ones that I got. Just picked them up. I actually went to a Goodwill that I went to once before. It was a clearance center, and it was a dump, basically. The first time I saw it, it was just these big blue bins with shit thrown in them, and the furniture on the side. And I didn't find anything record-wise the first time I went, so I kind of passed by it. But I was on my way somewhere else where this was literally passing right by it, and I figured I'd take another chance, because the last time I checked was a couple months ago. So I went in, same thing, bunch of blue bins with crap dumped in them. I went in the back where I saw stuff music related the first time, and they did have some albums in there, but they're all literally dumped in this bin. And it was a pain going through them, and the sad thing was that there was a whole bunch of 78s in there too, and they were thrown in with the other ones, and half of them were broken. And for anybody who collects 78s, it's pretty sad, because I glanced, saw a handful of titles that were in there, and I believe I even saw an Elvis 78, and somebody wanted it. It wouldn't matter because it's broken, because they didn't care, and they threw it in the stupid bin. Anyway, I don't buy 78s anyway because I don't have anything to play them on. So I did find a couple that were in good shape. There's one I don't have anything by that I'm aware of. I knew who he was. He had one big hit in the mid-'80s called At This Moment. It's kind of like a soul-based, white soul-based singer. This is Billy Vera. So apparently this is his first album coming back in the 80s. This is probably the beginning of the process, where that eventually led to At This Moment being a hit. So I haven't listened to either of these two yet at all, because I just brought them home a couple hours ago. But it's a promo. I don't know if that means anything. I don't have to work anything out. The back cover's pretty plain. And it's on this label called Acta Alpha, that I have a 45 by a group called the Monroes, and also had a Burton Cummings solo album. This is what it looks like. It's kind of a cool label if you haven't seen it before. So that's Alpha Records. So let's see what that one's like. I'm sure it'll be pretty good, because I like bluesy soul-based kind of stuff, and it's probably in that vein. Now I remember seeing Billy Vera albums with another lady singer on my old Atlantic sleeves that had all the pictures of the albums on it from like the 60s and early 70s. So obviously he's been around a long time. He doesn't even look that young there, and this is 82, so never heard any of that stuff, though. I'd be curious to hear what that sounds like. Now the other one I bought, the last kind of genre that I'm into, that I've kind of been late blooming on, as far as buying stuff, is old soul, funk stuff from like the 60s and 70s. So I've been picking whatever I can find up in decent shape, and I found this. This is the first album I had by this group, BT Express, Energy to Burn. Really good shape. In fact, this was in shrink when I bought it, but the cover needed repairing. So I took the shrink off so I could repair the cover. But there's the funky outfits. This is from '76 on Columbia, inner sleeve. So I'd heard a few songs about these guys, and I knew they were in that vein, 70s style soul, so I figured I'd probably dig this. So I got that. So at least I did find a couple things. Now the rest of this is all from like 3 or 4 different trips over the past month or so. This was another one that was actually in shrink, which kind of surprised me because this one's even older than the other one. It's a fairly common album, but condition-wise, you never find it like this at all. And I kind of like this guy as far as singer-songwriters go. It's Gilbert O'Sullivan. I'm a writer, not a fighter. No real hits on this one, though there is a song on here called Get Down that I did recently here on Oldies Radio or something. So that must have been a single off of here. If you know Alone Again Naturally and Claire and 1 or 2 other hits that he had, it's in the same vein. But like I said, this is in shrink. The cover's brand new, record's pretty close. It's on MAM Records. And considering for the $1 I paid for it, it was worth it. Now I don't buy a lot of soundtracks. In fact, actually, I forgot to show this when I did the soundtrack video because it was in this other stack. But I did find the original Arthur movie soundtrack, and so that's kind of cool. That's in pretty decent shape. Warner Brothers, usual. But it's got some tunes by Ambrosia, Nicolette Larson, Stephen Bishop, and Christopher Cross, besides the movie music. So I actually remember some of the movie music too from when I watched the movie the last time. So that was kind of cool for Buckle. This one I got recently. This is kind of cool. I look for old Motown records. Like I said, I like looking for old soul. Usually when you find old Motown albums, singles too, but albums is just as much they're beat to hell. So if I find one somewhere, any Motown records that are in halfway decent playable shape, they don't even have to be great. VG is fine with me. As long as they'll play through and won't skip and make a lot of noise, I'm okay because I don't find them that often that aren't beat to hell. This one I happen to find, and this is Miracle's Greatest Hits from the Beginning. Now, Miracles is a group that I probably wouldn't want to buy the regular albums from, except maybe into the 70s, maybe a few early 70s ones. But this is all like original early 60s up to like 64, 65, which for the most part I'm probably sure the albums wouldn't be very good anyway. So this is a good way to do it. It's got a gatefold. It's got some water damage, but it's not too bad. Cover's not great. Needs some tape. But the cool thing about this is it's a first original press, and it's on the old Tamil label. The usual one with the brick on the top with the Tamil in the middle. And so it's kind of cool finding one in really, this is VG probably plus for an album this old that's original like this. So I kind of lucked out with this one. Next we're going to jazz. West Montgomery Small Groups Recordings. This is one of those mid-70s for compilation type things. So it's got 2 sides with this one group from a live show from '65, and then one side with a 4-piece group with basically the same 4-piece group from above, except it's 3 studio tracks, and then there's two tracks with Jimmy Smith on the last side. So it's kind of cool. It's really good shape. Even the sleeves were even those the plastic line ones, so it's protected pretty well. A little bit of runwear on the cover, but nothing major, and a lot of information on the inside. So that was kind of cool. So I'm beefing up on the West Montgomery a little bit, up to about 6 or 7 right now, which is kind of cool. Another guy I don't have too many solo albums by, even though I have other albums that he plays on. Another jazz guy, Chick Corea, Piano Improvisations #1, from 1970, and this is Jazz Improvisations. I've only played a couple of this so far. It's nice, good stuff. It's figure from Chick Corea. And I'm not sure if this came before Return It or after Return It Forever's first album, because I do have that in there. But it's on the old ECM with the block letters. And the cool thing about it too is it came with an ECM picture sleeve from back then, which I had never seen one of these old ones before. So covers and then a big logo on the back and a send away thing. Try to get a catalog. That's in really good shape. So that was cool. Now this one isn't really a find from Goodwill or a thrift store, but it was the only one of this nature. So one of my final community friends on Facebook, Jonathan Henschel, I believe that's your last name, I have it in front of me, I think it's it. He showed this album and said that he really liked it, and I used to have this, and I got rid of it for some reason a long time ago when I was just selling stuff, not because I didn't like it, but just because I was selling stuff, and never rebought it. And I told him that I used to have it and lost it, and I liked it. And he said he had an extra copy, and if I wanted it, I said, sure, I'll take it. So he sent it to me. And it's in a plastic sleeve, but it's on, should be original 72 Dunhill. Cover's in really good shape. And Jonathan, if you do watch this, thank you, I appreciate it very much. Apparently Jonathan used to have a online record store, so he's got a lot of stuff. Love to go to his house, but he lives in Iowa or something. Going to Iowa anytime soon. Another Thrift buy, Country Rock, Prairie League, Firing Up. There's a hit on here, Let Me Love You Tonight. It's kind of like a pop tune, but if you heard it, you'd know it. It's not bad. It's kind of pop, country rock from the early 80s. Interestingly enough, country singer Vince Gill is in the band at this point, and there he is with long hair and a mustache. And I was curious, because the only other album I have by them is their first one, which is from 72. This is from 80. I knew they went through a lot of members, but I figured just for shits and giggles, I'd pull out the first album and compare musicians on it. There's not one person from the first album that's on this album. So, you know, pure Prairie League by name, I guess. I mean, the only consistency, I guess, is the logo and the guy in the middle who's on all the covers. But it's still not a bad listen for that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's cheap, so what the hey. This one I posted on the VC Facebook channel. This was the only one I found at this one place. This guy Larry Norman, he was like one of the early Christian rock people. Not that I'm a big Christian rock person, so to speak. To me, Christian rock is just rock with Christian lyrics. Musically, it's usually not much different, and I like the music first anyway, so it wouldn't even matter what he was talking about. I would still dig it if I liked the music, and this is good early classic rock. It's from 72, and I'd never seen this one before. I have one other one by him from 76 that's on his own label. This is actually on Verve. All the lyrics and crap, and there's a picture with him. It's like in front of Stonehenge or something. And it's on the Blue Verve label. For any of you who got Velvet Underground or Mothers of Invention albums, you'll recognize that sucker. And it's actually really good so far. I've played about 4 tunes on it, and it's good singer-songwriter classic rock. It's just singing about Jesus. And the other thing about him, he had a group in the late 60s called People that had a song called I Love You that was a hit that I haven't heard in forever. But I'll look, they have put out like 2 or 3 albums. I'm looking for those too, but I haven't been able to find them. They're kind of hard to find. This is a rebuy, the only one in this batch. I actually had this album. This is my favorite Linda Ronstadt album, Mad Love. It was kind of her starting to delve into the new wavy type of rock that was coming out in late 70s, early 80s. So there's some covers on here that are in that vein. She even does Party Girl by Elvis Costello, which is a really good version, and Talking the Dark. She Jessica's Neil Young song called "Look Out for My Love." Another Elvis Costello song, Girls Talk. And then a really cool version of "Hurt So Bad," which is probably the big hit off this album, the 60s tune. But overall, in fact, I remember watching a concert from this tour on cable years ago, like several times. I really liked it. But the only thing I don't like about this album is that she chopped her hair off. I like blonde hair. Anyway, next one is pretty common. Just the one I was missing from them. Simon Garfunkel, Bridge Over Troubled Water. There's a bunch of hits on here. Celia, Bridge Over Troubled Waters, Keep the Customer Satisfied, and then El Condor Pasa, which I didn't know what it was until I heard the song, and then I remembered the song, just didn't know what the song title was. And the box is on here too. Not original, it's a PC, which means it was the first generation of when it went down to nice price, a little bit budget price line. So it's probably from the late 70s. But condition-wise, it's almost brand new, so it was worth it to have an original. And to me, you know, for the most part, if the cover's the same and it's in good shape and it's a reissue, I don't really care. As long as it sounds good. I mean, it's nice to have originals of stuff, and if I find them, that's great. But if I don't, that's most important that the covers. I love to have the same cover, have the same stuff in it, and have it sound good. That's what's most important to me. I don't like when they reissue albums and put different covers on them. I hate that. It sucks. But for the most part, it doesn't happen that way. Joan Arm Trading, somebody I've known about for 100 years, and I've only ever owned like 3 or 4 singles by. But I always happen to see her albums are always fairly cheap, and I never bought one for any reason. I don't know, just one of those things. And this one happened to be there. And the thing about going to Goodwill is you'll buy something for $1 that you might not buy in the dollar bin at the record store because they have so many more albums to choose from. You'll kind of be a little more nitpicky when you go through the dollar bins there, and then you put some back. But when you're in the thrift store, you get what's there. You never usually find more than what you want. It's usually what's there. So that kind of forced me to get one, and I'm glad I did. I like it so far. This is their first album. And the cover's in great shape, the record's in really good shape. It's a reissue, but it's, like I said, it's still really nice. Another fairly common one, but not in this shape. This is in great shape. This is Foreigner by Cat Stevens. It's a good album so far. Actually, first side is a full side sleeve. So I've listened to that and a couple songs on the other side, and it's Cat Stevens. It's good Cat Stevens from that mid-period, where it's a little more orchestrated and more advanced as far as the instrumentation and what have you. But there's no real hits on here. There's only 5 songs on here, but it's good stuff, and it's in great shape. Came with the original sleeve, comes with a picture label, and then there's this cardboard thing which had the lyrics in it, and this cardboard thing is thicker than the album cover. And so there's the lyrics, and then there's this polar bear painting on the back. It's kind of cool. That's what I love about old album covers. You know, they're cooler than cool. I mean, you know, you'd want to look in this on a CD package. It's a little, you know, flimsy and no cardboard. It's just not the same. So, a couple more, and we'll close this video out. This one I was really surprised to find. Now, it's not in amazing shape, but I have a digital copy of this album, so I can listen to it clean. But it's Getting to the Point by Savoy Brown, and it's not one you see a lot. And I tried buying one before on eBay last year, and it was too expensive. So I found this for $2, and it's got the cover. Now here's another thing about CD covers. Do you see this cover? See all the detail, all the little pictures on it? Can you imagine trying to look at this big? You wouldn't be able to see it. You would need a magnifying glass to actually look at these pictures. And that's what it was like. It was ridiculous. So I said, I copied the disc so that I had the music, sold the CD, and I said, I'm going to buy an album cover so I could actually see the pictures. And I finally found one. The back's just a bunch of stuff written about them. This is their second album, but it's the first version of the band with the members from Foghat. The first band was almost a completely different band. They kind of split up, and they were formed in like this. So I've only heard songs off the first album. It's pretty straight blues. This is a little more blues rock, but it's a good album. Second last, Common, Loggins and Messina, So Fine. This is an album of covers, kind of like they did a lot in the 90s with artists. They would just record a bunch of tunes that were influences from, but this is from like 75, so, but it's in great shape. And like I said, you go to Goodwill and you find what you find, and that's it. And so obviously it was in good shape, so I bought it. I might not have bought it if I went to a regular store, but because it was Goodwill and it was there, and I had only so much to choose from, there you go. Last one I'm going to show you is Joe Walsh. You bought it, you name it, from '83. The other one I didn't have. I have a handful of them by him. This one's kind of cool. It's got that song I Play That Rock and Roll on there, which is kind of cool. Space Age Whiz Kids, both of those songs had videos for them. That song's kind of goofy. But it's Joe Walsh. Sounds like a Joe Walsh song from the 80s. That's pretty good so far. So that's it for the Goodwill stuff. I also wanted to mention, if you're still here, I posted a CD that I made in '98 on my page, but I didn't put my name in it. It's called Ancient Medicine. If you happen to see it on there, if you're watching this, if you happen to see it on there and didn't know it was me, it's actually me. If you're interested in listening to it, you get an idea what I sound like vocally, how I write, some of my guitar playing, and what have you. And let me know what you think. And that'll be it for this video. And take care. Thank you.